Hi guys, 2021 looks like it's going to be a really good year for new bikes, and this week I'm going to talk about one of them that I'm really excited about, and that is the 2021 Royal Enfield Meteor. Okay, so Royal Enfield, as we all know, have gone from strength to strength, and they're gaining a lot of consumer confidence since the Interceptor and so some of the other bikes that they've brought out over the last couple of years. Now, this new one, the Meteor, it's a lower capacity machine. It's 350cc, typical long stroke engine that Royal Enfield has similarly produced in the past with the Bullet. It's one that I'm particularly excited about because I think the 350cc mark is a nice size engine for the road. Now, just to run you through some stats, it's an A2 compliant cruiser. The seat height is suitable for all at 765 millimeters. It's quite a lightweight, 191 kilograms, fully fueled. Okay, so the 349cc engine has been totally redesigned. It's now got an extra balancing shaft in it as well, so it should get rid of a lot of the vibrations that we used to get on the 500s. So that's going to be quite nice. And also it's going to come in a powder coated black as well, as opposed to the natural finish that we had on the cylinder block before. That looks really nice. Obviously it hides a multitude of sins as well, but I think that looks really great, the engine, and it sounds like it's going to be really nice. The engine's going to be producing 20 horsepower at 6,100 RPM. It's not a lot of power, and it's not, you know, it's a Royal Enfield. It's not about the power. Now, if anyone's ever ridden a Royal Enfield, you know what I mean by that. They're quite a charming motorcycle to ride, and this one is no exception. And I must admit, even I looked at the 20 horsepower, and I thought to myself, is this going to be a bit flat? But I know what Royal Enfield are like. They've surprised me before with the Bullet and the Interceptor, and no doubt they're going to surprise me again. This is going to be a relaxing bike to ride as opposed to a speed demon. All right, that's not what this bike is all about. Now, it's going to produce 27 Newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. So it's, although the brake horsepower is quite low, I think 27 Newton meters of torque is kind of where you want to be with a 350cc motorbike. So it should pull pretty well, I'm hoping. And no doubt they'll get the gearing right as well, and the ratios, which is something that Royal Enfield are really good at as well. It's going to have a 5-speed gearbox and a 19-inch front wheel, which I guess that suits the cruiser style market. So it should eat up the bumps in the road pretty well with a wheel of that size. It would be interesting to know how it handles with a wheel that size as well. And again, I have full confidence in Royal Enfield that they're going to get that spot on as well. With the 15-litre tank, it's going to take you a long way on a 349cc engine. The price of it is £3,749 on the road. What a cracking price that is. You know, it's a typical Royal Enfield price that you look at and you kind of think to yourself, how the hell do they make it for that? And ship it and franchise it out. Fantastic price. The finish looks really good on it from the pictures, and they haven't disappointed on any of the other ranges, like the Interceptor, for example. That's always been a nice bike to look at, and the finish has been good. And I remember when the Interceptor first came out and people were saying, what's it going to be like in a few years' time or a couple of years' time? And actually they have stood the test of time, and that's why they are now one of the biggest selling bikes in the UK. In fact, I've got a funny feeling it is the biggest selling bike in the UK in the 650 range, so, and for good reason. There's going to be 3 models of the Meteor: the Fireball, the Stella and the Supernova. All of them look good. I don't think there's much of a wrong choice there. I think they all look pretty good. The range with the pillion backrest looks good. I think that's going to be the one that I would probably go for. And even with a screen, actually looks suited to the bike. It looks pretty good. I like it. So let's talk about the dash. That looks very nice again. It's got a gear indicator, a semicircular petrol gauge, a time and a trip meter. And as I say, it looks really, really nice, I think. I think that looks spot on with a nice mixture of a bit of retro, analog dials, and the LCD small screen in between. I think for the gear indicator, it may be a little bit small in the flesh when you look at it, but I don't really think it's the end of the world. I think as long as you got the prominent speedo, then you're going to be okay there. So the small screen on the right hand side here is the Tripper, which is what Royal Enfield have trademarked this as, and it's a sat nav, and it's a very basic sat nav. It hooks up with Google Maps, so whether you're Android or Apple, you'll be able to hook up with this software here. And it's a very basic one, and basically it's just got arrows which points you in the direction that you need to go. It shows you the distance of your next turn, and then when you're close to your turn, it will start to flash, and then it will just show a solid red when you need to turn left or right or straight over the roundabout or whatever. Looks very nice, very basic, and there's no subscription for this as well. It comes with the bike. All you need to do is download the Royal Enfield app, and it will take you through it, and you'll be able to hook straight up to that. Also, we got a USB on the back of that to charge up your phone while that is working. So as a freebie, I mean, that's remember that the bike is 3,749 quid. That is bloody amazing, isn't it? That is that is brilliant. So again, that's another plus point on the bike. So I am now going to just run you through the points that I really like about this bike. Is going to be quite a long list, really. I started writing it and I kept going on and on, so I've had to narrow it down a bit and keep it simples. Okay, first of all, most important point is that the seat looks immensely comfortable. Okay, now the most comfortable seat I've ever ridden on a bike is the Classic 500. I was really surprised how comfortable that seat was, and especially when it was a bike which I took out, which I didn't think I was going to like, and I absolutely loved it. Well, if you want to see the video, there's a card up here, and I'll put one at the end as well. It's worth seeing that. But the seats on these Royal Enfields are so nice. They're really wide, they're really comfy, and you just don't get any inkling that you're going to get uncomfortable, even on a long distance ride. It looks like they transferred a very similar seat over from the Trials 500 over to the Meteor, and I just can't wait to sit on one, to be honest with you. I'm really excited about this bike. It's probably, actually, I'd probably say I'm more excited about this bike than I am the new NC, actually. So, it's going to be great. I can't wait. The second thing I've noticed that I really like is the beautifully styled rear LED brake light. Looks absolutely stunning. Very, very basic. Very, it just looks great. It just looks great. And again, it suits the bike. The next thing I like is the powder coated engine. Now, with some of the, again, in the Classic range, and I don't want to keep comparing it to the Classic because it's an utterly different bike, of course, utterly different engine, but the finish on the engine before now on the Classics have, they just tend to tarnish quite quickly. Whereas with this being powder coated black now, that's kind of got rid of that issue altogether, hopefully. So, again, the finish side of things on the Enfields are really good. I've always said it ever since I tried the Interceptor, probably 18 months ago now when they first come out. And the amount of grief I got for it from people saying, oh, you know, it's about the finish, you know, you wait till a couple of years' time, and they were totally wrong. And like I said at the time, the Enfields have got a really good finish on them these days. So certainly on the UK models that get shipped over, they have got that sus, and Enfield know that they need to get that sus. That was the most important thing, to get rid of the stigma, and they've done that, and they've come on leaps and bounds. Again, I'm going to mention the sat nav again, or the Tripper, should I say. Very simple to use. It'd be interesting in knowing what it's like when you've got busy traffic, you know, going into London, or busy cities, you know, different lanes, and see how that works. It almost seems like it just points you roughly in the right direction, you know, so how that would point you in the right direction if you need the right hand lane or the left hand lane. will be remain to be seen, but at least it gives you a good direction anyway. It gives you a good idea, and to be honest, even if it's lanes, then you'll be able to see which lane you want anyway. Won't you be able to see the sign and work it out? As long as it's pointing you in the right direction, then that's kind of half the battle, really. Bit like having the wife sat next to you. Right, yeah, and obviously the price, you know, 3,749 quid for a 350 with a sat-nav, great finish, a supremely comfortable seat, classic styling. It looks a bit of a one-off, many different options that you can go through, and loads of different add-ons to make it your own. That's a brilliant price, isn't it? Next thing I've written down, which I really like, is the seating triangle as well. So it's a sort of seat that is very comfortable, but your legs on the pegs are not directly below your bum. They are in front of you, so it's very much like sitting in like an armchair type of seating position. Love that. It's really comfortable, and it's just where you want it to be, and also it's going to be easy to get your feet down on the floor as well. You're not going to be hitting the pegs because they're just slightly forward, not in a chopper style, obviously. They're just slightly forward, and that is for me, I think that's the perfect seating position for a cruiser, adventure bike or alike. It's a very comfortable way to sit, so that's another thing which I've put down as a major plus about the Royal Enfield Meteor. And the last thing which I'm going to mention that is a big plus point is the £42 road tax in the UK. It falls in a very nice bracket, so yeah, £42 road tax, £3,749 to buy. I would imagine it's quite cheap to insure. You're on the road, you know. It's very tempting for me. This looks a very good second bike. I've got to find some more room and buy her some flowers, but yeah, it looks a very attractive second bike to me. And I must admit, out of all the bikes at the moment, you know, do I upgrade the NC, which I don't need to. But I would like a second bike, and to be honest, I'd like probably like a 125 of some description, but again, purely because it's so cheap to run. But this 350 Enfield looks it looks very attractive to me, and I think all the things that I liked on the classic 500 is going to be brought over to this bike, you know, such as the seat, the way it rides, the way that you can look around. It's not going to be fast, but it is going to have quite a torquey engine. It just seems right on my street on that front. So yeah, brilliant. I can't wait for it, and I'm definitely going to have a ride on one when I get the chance to, and I'll let you know what it's like. Now, I'd be interested in your views on it. If you could put down in the comments what you think of it, and certainly people who have got a Royal Enfield classic 500s saddlebag 73. I'll be interested in your thoughts on it, and what you think about it. Overall, it's just going to be a great package, and it's going to be really exciting to get on one. But yeah, great. I'm so looking forward to 2021. And thanks for watching. Do subscribe and give it a like if you would. Makes it a bit more worthwhile, and tells YouTube that it's the kind of thing that people want to see, and it just moves the channel forward all the time, and makes it a bit more stable. So thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you next week at Friday 1 PM. Thank you for watching.